If everybody's focusing, good evening, welcome. It's Wednesday the 27th of April 2016. It's 7:03 p.m. Starting a little bit late, can make sure everybody signs the book. Now the first item on the agenda is a vote of no confidence, and it's to consider and vote on a motion from Councillor Martin Brookes. Because it involves me, I suppose in theory it's a declaration, so I'm going to leave you to it. And I'll let Councillor Haley carry on. Crack on. Anybody wants me, I'll be out here.
Agenda item 1, then about no confidence. Chairman, we've all seen the paper. Does anybody want any clarification of the paper? Say everyone's happy? Yeah, okay.
And I'd like to make an additional comment.
Well, sorry, Mark, the question was, does anybody want clarification of your paper?
Okay, but just making it aware that I would like to make a comment.
Does anybody want to debate the paper before we move on? Open for debate, if anyone wants to debate it. You take that as a no?
Well,
you can't debate it on your own, Martin.
Well, I can make a comment. I'm a
I
councillor.
asked if anyone wants to debate it, and it would appear nobody does want to debate it, Martin.
Yes, then I'm just going to make a comment, which I'm perfectly entitled to.
Make a comment then.
Yes.
You don't say don't listen to that.
I am appalled that I have to bring this to council, and I'm appalled that the chairman has not decided to do the honourable thing and
Martin, I'm going to stop you. I'm sorry, Martin.
Sorry, no, I'm allowed to speak.
Martin, you are allowed to address the paper and the agenda.
Yes, and you haven't even let me finish what I'm saying.
Please don't interrupt. Can I just finish? You are not addressing the agenda.
I am. I'm explaining. I'm appalled that I have to present it to this council. This is years and years of crap from people like Mr. Lowe.
I object to some language that's been...
I object to being called a prostitute, a nutter and everything in there, and everybody in that side of the corner there sits there smirking and laughing about it.
Will you please...
Thank you.
Will you please...
It's a total I'm keeping cool. It's a total embarrassment for this council that we had a deputy chairman who can write things
Councillor
like
Brookes,
this
I've
to members of the
I'm not
council.
going to ask you again. I'll stop the meeting if I have to. I have asked you...
I am talking about this agenda item that has a serious effect on this council and myself.
We've got an agenda item.
Can I just object to shouting, because it's getting...
Can you please just...
I'm sorry, but I am not going to be silenced. This is a serious issue that's been going on since 2009.
Councillor Brookes, I'm chairing the meeting at the moment.
I know you're chairing the meeting. I'm very much aware of that, Mr. Haley.
So will you please let me say again, we have the paper, nobody wants clarification of it, nobody wants to debate it.
And I want to comment of my opinion and add to it.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not...
Yes, I will, because we've had an email this evening which strengthens this, referring to the 106 contribution.
There is
Mr. Lowe was the chairman in 2014, and that email from Rutland County Council makes it very clear he knew what was going on. So that is why I have no confidence in the man.
Councillor Brookes, I'm not prepared to sit here...
So do you accept that, Mr. Deputy Chairman, as acceptable behaviour from the chairman of our council?
I am not sitting here judging people. We have got a paper. Do you want to make... You've got a proposal on the paper. Do you want to make a proposal?
I'm making a proposal. When I get to it, I would feel that I should be freely allowed to make a comment supporting my paper without interruption.
The comments you're making, Councillor Brookes, aren't supporting your paper.
They are, because I say there are a number of issues, and I didn't want to make this a 15, 16-page document.
That was your property. But this one, do you want to make a proposal?
I will make the proposal, but I'm appalled that you have kept interrupting me and you're not allowing me to make a single comment.
Do you want to make a proposal?
I make the proposal as written and you can read it.
Okay. The proposal is a motion for a vote of no confidence in Councillor Adam Lowe and that he should not remain as Mayor or Chairman. Is that your proposal?
That's correct.
Do we have a seconder?
So by not seconding it, everybody round this table is supporting that conduct.
The motion...
And I find that is disgusting.
Second, do you want Chairman back?
Yes, please. Thank you.
I absolutely find that disgusting that nobody would second it, because that is showing to me that you find it's acceptable for the chairman of this council to have things out in the public domain that say I am nuts and a prostitute and corrupt with our local police. It's absolutely disgusting. Oh, you can smile, Mr. Lowe. You are just one big idiot, Mr. Lowe. And you cannot complain about me calling you an idiot when you have suggested in the public domain that I'm a prostitute and a nutter.
Chairman.
You are a disgrace.
I think what I've seen tonight illustrates why this council is at rock bottom.
Don't you blame me, Mr. Stubbs. You're the person that they're moaning about because you sit here grunting and groaning and moaning when people talk.
Right, okay.
So you better just shut up.
Thank you, Tracy.
Don't you call me that.
Tracy.
We may as well.
I have not sworn at you at all. I am not a bastard, and you can take that back before this meeting. Before this meeting continues.
Apologise the way you didn't apologise today.
Martin,
Hang on, sorry.
Stand.
Can I just say?
Can everyone around this side? Tracy, come on.
We may as well rip this up. We're supposed to be conducting ourselves in a high standard.
Well, we can't, because even people like you are accepting that from our chairman. If I wrote that about you and said you were that, what would you be doing at the moment? Sitting there all pretty and saying this is acceptable. It is disgusting.
I'm sorry,
Can I ask everybody to be quiet? Right, Martin, can we carry on with the meeting?
No, because I don't accept that. It is disgusting that every member is blaming me for that. If you read it properly, he didn't even have a problem with me at the time.
Okay.
It is absolutely disgusting.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue with the meeting and I'll move on to the apologies. The apologies, standing order 1U to receive apologies for absent. Councillor Jasmine Hopkins has sent in her apologies this evening. Proposal please. Proposed by Councillor Howard, seconded by Councillor Stubbs. All those in favour? So that's Martin. Are you for, against, or abstaining?
I'm not voting for anything at the moment because I'm not thinking. I'm not able to think clearly after what's just happened.
9 are for, and Councillor Brookes refused to vote.
He hasn't voted, so don't mean it as a refusal. He just hasn't voted.
Right.
You make it far too personal, Mr. Lowe, all the time.
So. What I wanted to do is change the order of the minutes, and that is item 15 on here is the proper officer. And what it is that I'd like to propose, and I'm going to propose it from the chair, that this is brought forward to actually the next item 2A, if you like, and that's because the council is without that. So seconded by Joyce.
Who is the proper officer? There's no report here. It just says. How can we vote? Excuse me, how can we vote? No, I want to know who the proper officer is. The agenda item just says...
Martin, are you voting?
No, excuse me, Chairman. I want to know... No, we can't vote on it if you don't tell us who it is.
With 9 votes for, it's carried that we're going to bring this item forward. I'm now going to answer your question. The proper officer for this council, which you do know, is the clerk, which is Richard White. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, we know.
Sorry, Chairman, I missed the beginning. We have just voted on moving the item.
Yes, the proper.
Right now.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who was confused.
So the item, the proper officer for this council is Richard White. Now, as we know, Richard White is not at work at the moment, and we're coming up to an end of year session where we need to have a proper officer. And in the interim, what we can do, we can make a proposal that Alison Greaves becomes the proper officer for the council until the clerk returns. Has anybody got any questions around that? I took advice from the people at Amnesty, from the LAC, and they said that we can vote in, we can
Can you give the definition, Chairman, of what a proper officer is? And are we actually...
Is it in standing orders?
Are we actually...
I'll have to find it.
I'm not querying it, I'm just making sure that we've got a qualified proper officer.
Right.
Sorry, Alison, but...
Yeah, no, well, right, I asked the question, can the assistant clerk be a proper officer?
Yes.
Yes, they can. They do not have to be Silka trained, which is what the clerk is. The proper officer is the person that the council appoint as their proper officer.
Excuse
and
me.
we need to have a proper officer.
I think that's been said in the absence of the...
Do you want to just find it in there?
The assistant clerk.
Right, Martin, you wanted to say something? Craig.
Yes, it's very similar when we didn't have a chairman. A proper officer means if we don't have one, that this council cannot lawfully function. And since we haven't had a proper officer, there's been payments made and council business conducted, which technically means that we've not been complying with the law. So as soon as we appoint Alison, it will be for the best.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Sorry, I was saying...
Yeah. Anybody got any questions while my man looks at the documents?
Chairman,
Peter.
yes, perfectly happy with that, but are we going to discuss at some stage in the near future what our plans are, or is this a permanent fixture?
It's a temporary fixture, because the clerk is only off for a set period of time. There is a return to date that we have, and when the clerk returns, we then pass another agenda item or another resolution which takes Alison out of the proper officer role and puts the clerk back in as the proper officer. So
I think you should look at it.
right, okay. Thank you for that. Right, proper officer A. I'd had it written out. With everything else going on today, I left my documents there. The council's proper officer shall be either the clerk, the assistant clerk in the absence of the clerk, or such other person as may be appointed by the council to undertake the work of the proper officer from time to time. The proper officer or the person appointed to act as such during the proper officer's absence shall fulfil the duties assigned to the proper officer in the standing orders. The spending authority is detailed in financial regulations. On the point that Martin quite rightly raised, where he said that without a proper officer that we shouldn't have been making payments, we were covered by it, because what we had delegated powers in the absence of the clerk. The assistant clerk could do that. That's contained within our financial...
We just have a loophole for every law that protects this council. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
unbelievable.
It's quite a long document, but in essence, all
I honestly, Chairman, I wonder why we have rules when you just keep constantly saying we have a standing order that gives us overrule this, overrule that.
Okay, I don't need to read any more. So basically, because we're coming up to the end of the year in the AGM, we do need a proper officer, and the clerk is not back until after the AGM. So that is reason that I was going to do this thing where, from the chair, I was going to propose that the council temporarily appoints Alison Greaves as a proper officer for the council until the start terms. Seconded, yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't need to be brought forward because it clearly states there that the assistant can be classed as the proper officer.
No,
but this is, to me, it's already written down that Alison's quite capable and legal to carry out doing what she's doing. This makes it...
This signs and seals it for the AGM.
Yes.
We would need it to be more appropriate for the AGM, and that's what this covers. So that was the proposal, seconded by Joyce. Yeah. All those in favour? 9, are you
Abstaining.
not voting? Abstaining. Thank you very much, Martin. Okay. Okay, sorry I forgot my papers on that, but it's been a very busy day. Declarations of interest. Members are asked to declare, if required, any disclosable pecuniary interest they may have in respect to items on the agenda. Any other interest they may have in respect to items on the agenda. Can make sure that everybody does sign the book at the to say that they've attended. And if you've got any declarations, can you put them in the book as well, please? Has anybody got any declarations at this point? Thank you. Item 4 is the minutes. To confirm the minutes of the meeting of Oakham Town Council held on Wednesday, March 13th, 2016. Any comments or observations? People that communicated issues, they have been corrected and made right.
So we need time to vote.
Oh, think ready. Proposal to accept the minutes from Vince, seconded by Stanley. Sorry. sorry, yeah, it says on here March the 13th. That's what I was reading it up there.
Yes.
Beg pardon, yeah, sorry, it's April the 13th. So